Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon or evening to you all. My name is Dr. Ahmed Haruna, the founder of Beacon of Hope. As we all know, currently climate change has been a major global issue or challenge, I would say. However, as part of the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals, which is an urgent call for action by all the nation to come together as forces in order to have what you call a global partnership to overcome the challenges of climate change. So while focusing on making the contributions to SDGs 13 and 17, that is to promote sustainability and build global partnerships. Therefore, I would like to kindly welcome you all to the second online symposium on climate change and environmental sustainability, which is actually a collaboration between Beacon of Hope and Global Ambassadors of Sustainability. However, without further ado, please allow me to introduce you the symposium's moderator, Mr. Hussein Hamza, who has held a Bachelor of Arts in History and works as a civil servant in higher education. He is a strong educational professional who is equally skilled in sustainable development goals and at the same time sustainable development goals and operation management. He has a very strong integrity for making the grade in the discipline for human and gender human rights. And at the same time, he is a true change agent and a humanitarian. Additionally, and lastly, he is also a founding member of Beacon of Hope. So please permit me to welcome Mr. Hussein. And the floor is yours, please. Thank you all for coming. Do have a great session ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Hamid, for giving me the opportunity to be a moderator of this section. And I welcome everybody from across the world. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. Thank you very much. Like the host said, my name is Hussein Hamza. I'm from Nigeria. I've been working in the human development for more than years now. Without wasting our time, this is the second online symposium on climate change and environmental sustainability, and which is on the theme current challenges and future sustainability opportunities. As we all know, we have a lot of current challenges in our society now based on the issue of impact of climate change. And without wasting of our time, we have some amazing speakers from across the world, from Nigeria and also from United Arab Emirates, who are going to talk about the topic of the discussion, which is very interesting. And also, I believe participants will learn a lot. Will learn a lot from their analysis. And without wasting of our time, I would like to call on the first speaker, which is Dr. Wissam Al Mahmoud, which is the founder of Global Ambassador of Sustainability, which is in UAE. Thank you. And also, is the founder of a global initiative, Global Ambassadors of Sustainability, which has made more than 13,300 members from 130 countries. Dr. Al Madhoun holds a fellowship on sustainable cities of Maghreb Institute of Technology and a postdoctoral fellowship at Malaysia, Japan International Institute of Technology, and also he has a PhD of environmental engineering from University of St. Malaysia. And he has 18 years of working experience in teaching, training, research, and also consultancy, where he had assignment in Bahrain, Canada, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Palestine. Without wasting of our time, the floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening, good afternoon, and thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this panel for this discussion. So, as we know that currently the global community is facing a lot of challenges, and among those challenges that we are living in, because of our practices that caused a lot of environmental degradation in terms of wasting, depleting, and degrading the national capital, So the challenges including air pollution, climate change, soil erosion, declining ocean fisheries, water pollution, decreasing the wildlife habitats, and shrinking the forests. So all these challenges plus the COVID-19, which up to now in the last 2 years, it caused more than 6.6 million people of death in terms of the deaths. And if we are comparing that to the previous disasters since 1900, so we can see the fluctuation in numbers of fatalities due to flooding, stream heat, droughts, and volcanic eruptions, earthquake, wildfires. And we can see here in 1930, we had more than 3.5 million people died because of those disasters. While the current environmental challenges, which include currently the pollution, including air, water, and soil, is causing 9.19 million deaths a year. And that is more than the people dying because of tobacco smoke, because of AIDS and malaria, drug use, road accidents, war and murder. And that is in terms of numbers, again, it's 3 times the number of people died because of the AIDS and tuberculosis and malaria. And it is 15 times greater than the people died because of violences. And if we are inquiring about the types of pollutants, so we might ask ourselves that, is it air pollution is the most serious? So these are some of the points that clarify that air pollution is the most serious, since it's the fastest to be absorbed in our lungs and to go into our blood. It just will take like 7 seconds. And we are breathing 11,000 liters a day. And also air pollution in terms of the greenhouse gases, it is the root cause of global warming and climate change. And according to the WHO reports, we are talking about 7 million people who die every year because of air pollution, due to strokes, heart disease, lung cancer, and other type of diseases. So these 7 million, they are split in 2 million in Southeast Asia, 2 million in Western Pacific, 1 million in Africa, 500,000 in the Eastern Mediterranean, 500,000 in Europe, and 300,000 in America. And again, this figure shows that in many countries, the majority of people, almost 100% of the population, are living in a level of particulate matters which exceed the WHO standards, and that justify the number of fatalities every year because of air pollution. And according to another report which is being presented here, that you can see millions of people are exposed to the household air pollution due to the utilization of solid fuel burning for cooking and heating. And this is these percentage are 43% in India, 30% in China, 71% in Nigeria, 59% in Pakistan, and the lowest here is 12% in Thailand. And this is again a huge amount of people who are exposed to these types of pollutants. And this figure shows the correlation between the number of deaths and the concentration of pollutants. So we can see here the rate is, this number is per 100,000 of the population. So like, for example, here at the range of 40 microgram per meter cubed, you can see here Ethiopia, you can see Iran, you can see Syria, and Morocco, and Oman. So this is the increase in the concentration, and due to that, we had the number of fatalities, and this is a global record for the whole global community. And this report shows the ranking of the countries due to according to the number of the concentrations of particulate matters, the PM2.5, the most serious. So here in the top of the list, we can see Bangladesh, we can see Tajikistan, India, Iraq 9th, Sudan 11. So this is the most serious, the most polluted countries up to the least polluted. And here we try to find the correlation with the economical impacts, the cost of environmental degradation. We know that when we have pollutants, whether it's in air, water, and soil, so it will reflect on the productivity of the human, productivity of the plants. So that will cause a lot of money as well. So the highest percentage here, it is 9.6% of the GDP, and this is in Ghana. And here, 9% in China. In India, it's 5.7%. In Morocco, it's 3.8%. And the lowest here in Tunisia, it's 2.1%. And this is, again, it's a huge amount of money. So climate change also will have and having social and economical impacts, and that include the cost of adapting coastal areas if the sea level rise, loss of capacity to work due to heat, more wars and conflicts to gain access to resources, shrinking of productivity, basic food and stuff, the prices will rise, and also we might have the extreme meteorological phenomena will cause widespread poverty. So these are some of the potential impacts that might rise. And here the figure shows that the floods and cyclone, which is a climate-related disaster, it is getting greater than the earthquake, which is a traditional type of disasters. And that is one more proof of the impacts of the climate. For the cost of climate, the cost of disaster, the natural disaster, we can see from this graph is costing more than $400 billion a year, and this from 2000 to 2021. And here we can see that the cost of climate-linked disaster, it's getting greater, and that is spread over the years from 2005 to 2020, spread over the months, because some of the disasters will occur during summer in some countries, like the open burning that, and the fire in the forest fires, cyclone, hurricanes. That's why you see the fluctuation in the months and in the countries, because it depends on the weather or the season. And you can see that the loss due to the climate, it's more than $300 billion a year. In this graph, you can see the numbers and the cost of disasters in 2020. So the total loss in 2020 was $268 billion. We had in 2020 one single disaster that cost $35 billion, which is the flooding in China. Since 1990, we had 29 disasters, which every disaster cost more than $1 billion. And we had $36 billion cost of the damage due to the severe storms and hail in 2020. And here you can see the cost of the disasters, the impacts of the disasters in 10 countries worldwide. And this is from 1989 to 2018. And that affected 5.2 billion. It caused 1 million fatalities, and it costed $843.6 billion as loss. And this is again a few numbers in different countries: the flooding in India, the flooding in Pakistan since 2014, and also some facts and numbers from other countries like Indonesia and Thailand, which again, all these disasters cause billions of dollars. So here the link between air pollution and economy, the economical loss. So in numbers, this is a report in 2018. The air pollution cost the worldwide community $2.9 trillion. That if you zoom in country scale, China, we are talking about 1.8 million people died and $900 billion loss because of air pollution. India, we are talking about 1 million people died and 150 billion loss due to air pollution. So if we compare that again, we compared in terms of number with the COVID-19 fatalities. So in terms of impacts, one of the reports from McKinsey estimated that the loss due to the COVID-19, the economical losses, it might reach 10%, 8 to 10%, while the same report mentioned that the poor health and the poor environmental health cost us every year around 15%, which is almost double the impact of COVID-19. And the same report mentions that if we enhance the environmental health, that might have an increase of the productivity, and that will add $12 trillion to the global GDP by 2040. So during coronavirus, the lockdown, we've seen a lot of positive signs, purification of water, the water quality enhanced, the air quality enhanced, and we got a lot of positive environmental impacts regarding the biodiversity as well. So this should motivate us and should lead us to the way forward to build back better, to have a more sustainable development practices, to have more sustainable lifestyle that will balance the environmental and economic needs and maintain the social aspects in terms of the cultural identity, social inclusion, and civil rights. And that will have a positive impact on the economy. We will have a sustainable economy, and we will have a protected environment with less impacts on the communities, with less economical impacts because of the potential pollutants. So we'll save the life of people, we'll save the economy, and also will maintain the social justice in terms of practicing the sustainable development. So taking into consideration the climate change issue as an environment, energy efficiency, resources depletion, the hazardous waste, air and water pollution, deforestation. For social issues, we need to focus on human rights, working condition, local and indigenous communities, conflicts, and health and safety and employees relations. Term of governance, we have to look into executive pay, bribery and corruption, data protection, board independence, tax strategy, transparency, shareholder rights. So I think this is what I wanted to share for today. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll be happy to answer if there is any question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wissam Al-Mahdoun, for the wonderful presentation. I really like your analysis. You analyze what the major of the topic of the discussions. Since we all know this climate change issues is something that is affecting humanity and also that is affecting our environment. And also you also talk about some of the impact of climate change in our society, and also you also mention some of the way forward towards the tackling this climate change in our society, in terms of the economical and also in terms of the social. And also, you also talk about the influence of the government too towards tackling this climate change in our society. Thank you very much. And I would like to ask the participants if there is any question, anybody that have question to ask our honorable speaker, please you can unmute yourself and ask the question directly. Thank you. Is there any participant have question? If you have a question, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Thank you. Okay, I personally, let me ask questions since we don't have any participant that want to ask question. And I think you made mention of some of the challenges that we are facing towards in terms of the climate change. And my question is that based on what we have been experiencing, in terms of flooding, and also in terms of this earthquake, which is part of the natural resource, which is part of the natural something that is affecting us in our environment. Please, can you tell us in terms of the which we all know these are overfishing is part of the challenges of this climate change. And in terms of in these rural areas, like for instance, in the rural area, like the villages, where they don't have the knowledge of how climate impact normally affect them in society. What do you think we can do to to let these people know how we can tackle this climate change in terms of this overfishing? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the question. I think the challenge is, it's kind of it's depending on the environmental issues. It's depending on the societal aspects as well. So the first, we need to increase the education, the awareness of people about these challenges, and then we need to increase their capacity to adapt with the changes, right? Because we know that the first thing is we need to provide people with their basic needs, right? So if it is their practice that cause these challenges, then we have to provide them alternative. Like if there is an overfishing, right, which lead to some biodiversity issues, then we can't stop them from overfishing, right, if that is the only mean for them to survive. So we have also, because when we talk about sustainability, we should look into economy, environment, and social aspects. Yeah, we have to maintain the economic development, but it has to be environmentally friendly, and also we have to look into the needs of the community. So that is on the part of the challenges. So education is one part, and also it's not only educate, because if you educate them, they know, but they have no option. They have no means to provide their to survive. So that is the very basic. In terms of impacts on the link on the climate, the climate might influence and affect the marine environment, right? And might have an influence on the productivity of the fishes, right? And so we have to increase the capacity and the resilience of the community to adapt with the changes. They might have to venture into new business, into like develop agriculture. In some agricultural area, they might have an influence on the soil, on the water. So they have to find different types of seeds to plant it, different schemes of watering, of irrigation system. So every case needs to be investigated on the local scale, and we have to look into how to increase the capacity, how to increase the resilience of the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much for making a justification towards the question. I believe our participants will be able to learn from what you have analyzed, and for them to start using it in their various community towards tackling this climate change, and also towards helping the young people in their society. And without wasting of our time, we'd like to move on to the second speaker, who is going to analyze for us based on the topic of discussion. I believe we will learn a lot from the second speakers based on the way we learned a lot from the first speaker. And our second speaker, in the person of Ali Sadiq, which is the CEO and Eco Climate Development Foundation in Nigeria. And this young man is an environmental professional, social entrepreneur, and Pan-African climate activist. He is the founder of Equivalent and indigenous social enterprises that focus on providing innovative solutions to the problems of waste, climate change, and environmental pollution. Ali is also an Exam Youth Spotlight awardee. Is recently emerged the winner of the 2022 African Youth for Environmental Fellowship. With over 4 years experience, the Nigerian Changemakers has focused immensely on environmental and climate justice advocacy, waste management, solutions, and green empowerment initiatives for youth and women. Without wasting of our time, please, Mr. Ali, the floor is yours. Thank you.